Hello everybody, it's D-Laps, and I'm here to review the new Alien film. This is directed by Ridley Scott, the guy who directed the original Alien movie. And that makes me really excited because he is such a great director. Here's the cast talking about the director and a little bit about the film.
Because he's a master, I think is the best way to put it. He's a master filmmaker.
Take on as quick as I can.
Are they?
Yeah.
And then chooses to collaborate with you and let you find your way into it, it's immensely rewarding because you know he's after something badass. So
Explode. I know it's back off.
To be the guy who helmed the first Alien, it's awesome just to hear the stories about what those guys went through. And love the aesthetic of what this spaceship looks like. Everything from the terraforming bay and all the construction equipment. It's just mind-blowing. The fact that we're in these spaceships for real, the cockpit of the Covenant was the first set that I walked onto.
Like the original Alien, I think there's a relentlessness to the chaos and the anxiety in this film. And
therefore we created some new creatures in addition to the usual suspects.
I think that's pretty violent, and that struggle is...
he wanted to make another scary picture, and he wanted it to be gory, and it is.
Like the first Alien, the Covenant, it's very gritty and dark.
I hope it's really scary. I hope it's gets you very uneasy. I hope your veins start going, your arteries start going. Gotta watch the screen.
I also find it very interesting that Ridley Scott wants to make 2 to 4 more movies of the Alien franchise, one of them being a prequel. I find that pretty interesting. He wants to basically make this his own franchise from this point forward, like James Cameron in Avatar. That means anything to do with the Alien franchise has to kind of go through him first. That means the cancellation of the Alien sequel, the one with Sigourney Weaver and Michael Biehn and the director of Chappie and District 9, that has been completely cancelled so they can make pretty much more Alien films with Ridley Scott. Okay, let's start with the review. Right off the bat, I'm going to say I do like this film, but it is very predictable. And in the first hour of the film also is kind of boring. More like really boring. But once the first hour is up and it gets to the second hour, it is an exciting film from that point forward. Another thing I really enjoy about this film, it's violent and it's gory. And it shows a couple of things that kind of shocked me, like the alien, instead of bursting through the chest, it comes out of the guy's mouth, and it's brutal to watch. Another cool thing is you get to see the planet where the engineers come from, but it's very brief. You don't really actually see any engineers in this movie except for one little spot, which kind of explains what happened to them. Don't want to spoil too much, but I didn't like that. I wanted to know more about the engineers. I found them so interesting, and the fact that they just been kind of swept away in this film bothers me a bit. Now, I think all the actors did a decent job. There's a few that I can point out which I think that really don't belong in this film. Like the second captain, I'm not a fan of his. I didn't think he's kind of a weirdo, if you ask me. But I wish a few of the characters kind of weren't there to put the lines in some of the other ones. Because some of the characters, they're there just for show, like just for filler. And when it comes to the plot or the story, I kind of feel it's all thrown together. They borrow too much from the old films, and they don't really put nothing new. It's like they can't think of an interesting way to make this, so they just said, oh, it's a madman, and that's fine. That's the direction they want to go, that's cool. But still, this has one of those cliffhanger endings as well, which doesn't really resolve how it would connect to the old 1979 Alien. Now, the CGI. This is like an up-down type of thing, because realistically, some of the CGI looked really bad, and some of it looked really good. Anything involving space or props around like the outskirts of like the environment look amazing. Then you got some shots of the alien CGI and it looked terrible. Especially the little baby alien. It's moving around so fast it almost looks like a cartoon. But they did use some practical effects. You can totally tell the practical effects because the alien looked really good. But when you have to see the alien actually move or from a distance, they decided to use CGI, and I felt that was a big mistake. First of all, I feel you should never see the alien as a whole. You should only see parts of it. Showing the whole alien, it kind of makes it less scary. Also, to solve some of these problems of CGI looking crappy, they made the film very dark. Maybe in some spots a little too dark. But that adds a little bit to the atmosphere, but I still think visually it's too dark. And the soundtrack, it was decent. You know, it wasn't the best. It's nothing really memorable. I can't just think back and say, oh, I remember that part and that music made me feel like this. The only time I noticed any of the music feeling good or being good was when it kind of reminds you of Prometheus. Now, another thing that was kind of interesting is that David from Prometheus is still alive. He actually helps this new crew that just landed on this planet and protects them from these monsters that are attacking them. But then eventually you find out that David is the creator of all the aliens. Because in 10 years you just screwed around with the physics of the biological weapon that the engineers made. Now all of a sudden there's aliens everywhere. And some of these aliens look so weird. They look like they belong in Silent Hill film or something. I also thought the subplot between David and Walter, the two androids, I thought that was a little weird. The flute scene, as everyone's talking of, like they call it the flute scene. I actually thought this was pretty cool because I always thought David was just going to smash that flute into Walter's head. So the whole time I was just like, oh, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And when it doesn't, it kind of fucked with my head a little bit. And one last thing I want to mention before I rate this film is the last minute of the movie. It is freaky. It makes you feel ill inside. It's not a happy ending, basically is what I'm saying. So I'm going to rate this a 7.5. I don't think it's the best Aliens, that's for sure. But I do think it's better than most of the Aliens. But anyway, I also got my good buddy Nasty Pro Dancer to help me out on the review. And we kind of changed things up how we record this. So please let me know if you like how we do this.
Okay, this is the second time us recording this because I forgot to plug in the fucking microphone.
Movie, the CGI of it, absolute cartoon, or even, I wouldn't even say cartoon, more gaming-like. Like, you can honestly say that it even looked like Doom in a way. Like,
yeah.
back at that Doom graphics.
It kind of looked like Alien Isolation, the video game, a little bit.
Yeah, like, it felt too CGI, some of them, but certain parts, they actually looked like they brought back a classic Alien.
Yeah.
Like, the whole scene of the alien in that shower, it's even posted in the trailer, that whole scene of the alien all of a sudden killing those two people in the shower. That actually looked like it was an authentic alien from back in the aliens' day. But when I was seeing all those other aliens, I was like, I'm not really scared at all. Like, is this supposed to be scary? Like,
they didn't look like they belonged in this movie. They look like weird aliens from other movies.
Yeah,
but
or
also,
even a game. Like,
yeah, but also to hide some of the way these weird things look, they just made the movie very dark.
That's true.
Like,
it was
dark.
very dark. And then, of course, you get the whole cast. It's just like you said, first friggin' hour was honestly absolute, just, I would even say plot filler. Like, it just looked like it was just trying to fill something.
It's just dialogue, jabbering bullshit.
After that, yeah, it did pick up, but it still felt like a B-rated movie to me. Yeah, I gotta point this out. The new aliens, they infect you with spores, apparently. The white ones infect you with spores and breed inside of you.
Yeah.
Like, the original is the eggs with the face huggers popping out, grabbing your face, and injecting you with the alien specimen.
A little alien in your stomach, yeah. They don't want you to think too much of how the alien turned to the alien. They just have some guys saying, oh, I'm crazy. I just went like this and that, and then the aliens appear. That's basically...
And they don't even hurt him. I guess the aliens do actually see him as a father. And he states, I'm the father, and I'm looking for the mother. Ooh, spooky. It was just trying to fill a plot point, and it really did a poor job at that.
Yeah,
that's why I gotta give this a 6.
6?
6, honestly, because of the whole graphics, because of the poor plot filling. Honestly, it was predictable. Honestly, when I saw Dave and Walter, I'm like, that guy, yeah. He's gonna make it out of here.
Oh, I would have to give it a 7.5. He gives it a 6. Overall, it's a decent movie that could have been better. Yeah, definitely could have been better.
Alright everybody, thank you very much for watching my video. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. A thumbs up is always great. And if you like to comment below, I always like to read it. So have a great day, guys.